And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Stone and Tom Crane, coming to you live from Portland, Oregon and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's about 3:32 out here on the West Coast, so 6:32 on the East Coast. Again, the first pitch starts about 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Get to a TV or get to a radio station as soon as possible for Game 7. Cubs, Indians should be one for the books. Now moving on from baseball to football here. Going through last week's games, it was pretty interesting. Because now, as of yesterday, the first official college football playoff rankings were released. We're going to talk about that in a second and how I feel about it. But just some of the games from over the weekend. Battle of Michigan State. I said it was going to be a closer one than previously thought, although we didn't do a podcast officially, so no one can prove that. But I did think it would be closer, and Michigan did prove me right. And Michigan State, 32-23 winners. Clemson coming out on top of Florida State, 37-34. Deshaun Watson, 27 of 43, 378 yards, 2 touchdowns, offsetting Dalvin Cook's career night of 169 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Number 4, Washington, keeping it alive for the Pac-12 so far, 8-0. Jake Browning, another Heisman-worthy performance in terms of at least good passing, 12 of 20, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's great on the ground as well. Louisville escaping Virginia, 32-25, impressive there. Ohio State coming after a loss to Penn State, squeaking by Northwestern, 24-20. Nebraska was undefeated going into the Big Ten this weekend, but they were playing Wisconsin, whose only 2 losses are to Ohio State and Michigan, and really close ones as well. So it's not that they're a bad team. So Wisconsin beat them 23-17, pretty impressive. Tommy Armstrong, not a good day, throwing 2 picks on the day for the Cornhuskers. Now, in the battle of the undefeateds in the Big 12, Texas defeats Baylor 35-34. Shane Buechele, 291 yards, 2 scores on the day. And Deontay Foreman, 250 yards off 32 carries, 2 scores. Pretty impressive there. And Oklahoma State, many picked to upset West Virginia, and they were right, upsetting them 37-20. Mason Rudolph throwing 3 touchdowns off 273 yards passing. Boise State, another undefeated team, going down 30-28 to Boise State. Florida squeaking by Georgia 24-10, very impressive there. And then Oklahoma looking good, blowing out Kansas as everyone does in football, 56-3. Now moving on to the rankings. Actually, before we go into the rankings, some of the shocks here. The Big 12, Tom, if you want to double, I mean, let's be honest here. The Big 12 is not going to get anyone in the college football playoff. West Virginia and Baylor, the 2 teams left undefeated, are gone. Oklahoma already has 2 losses on the season, although granted 2 pretty good opponents, although Houston's dropped off since they lost to Houston. Big 12, no shot, right?
Well, let's not give it a no shot. Oklahoma is playing against 2 tough opponents, but you could definitely see them squeaking into a bowl game. Nowhere in the playoffs and still keeping it in the top 25 rankings. But other than that, it's going to be a really crappy bowl game, though, unfortunately.
Oh, it is. No question about it. I mean, look, Oklahoma right now is now ranked 14th in the initial college football playoff ranking. You have Baylor at 17, and then you have West Virginia at 20. So unless teams start losing 2 or even 3 games, it doesn't seem likely. Oklahoma's the only team out of the Big 12 that really schedules tough opponents, so I think that's going to be really hard for them to bounce into the playoff. Again, it's going to have to take a lot of losses from people stumbling. And again, all the other conferences that honestly are much better, the Pac-12, the ACC, even the Big Ten is pretty impressive thus far, with Penn State still alive to even get to the conference championship, assuming Michigan loses a game and then defeats Ohio State. So Penn State that has an outside shot of getting there. That's pretty impressive in its own right. So going to the college football rankings before we do the pick'em, not surprised. Alabama number 1, Clemson's number 2. A lot of people are surprised by that, but their quality of wins over better opponents have been impressive. Michigan's been blowing out opponents. There's no doubt about it. But the quality of opponents not impressive overall. So I get why Clemson's 2 and Michigan's 3. But here's the head scratcher, and I'm sure, Tom, you may agree with me. You have Texas A&M at number 4.
No.
They're 7-1, but they did lose to Alabama already, head-to-head. So why would you even put them in the top 4, whereas Washington, who's at number 5, is 8-0, has defeated Utah, who's number 17 at the time, and is 16 in the rankings, so they actually moved up, surprisingly. They are the better team, at least initially. Tom, your thoughts?
I would say the only reason why Texas A&M might be number 4 over Washington is because they lost to Alabama, because they played Alabama, and it might have been a little bit closer than some of the blowouts that they've had, but other than that, that's probably the only reason why they squeaked up over Washington.
The only thing Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Tommy.
I was going to say Washington's win over Utah was great for them. And the fact that Utah is a strong team, they might question Utah's strength against Alabama's, and that's probably the only reason why Washington didn't get number 4, but that shouldn't be the case. I believe Washington should be number 4 right now.
Yeah, and I think, again, this is not me living on the West Coast with a bias, because, again, as an Oregon fan, I don't like Washington. That being said, they're 8-0. They've been not just blowing out opponents, but blowing out ranked opponents, too. They have a lot of style points. Jake Browning probably is the number 2 or number 3 pick on the Heisman chart behind Lamar Jackson and Jabril Peppers for me. So he's been fantastic, again, on a great team. They have a really balanced offense in terms of them passing the ball, and Jake Browning's ability to rush the ball has been phenomenal as well. You look down the line, you have Ohio State at 6, Louisville 7, Wisconsin 8, Auburn 9, who did lose to Texas A&M, so I understand that in that respect why, for some reason, Texas A&M is above Washington, but still, it is ridiculous. And I think even Penn State being up at 12, I think that's a little bit of a reach considering the fact that they were 23rd, 22nd last week in the AP poll. To jump up 10 spots, wow. I mean, that just says a lot in terms of the teams they're jumping over. So, I mean, if you look who's behind them, you have LSU, Oklahoma, Colorado, Utah, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, North Carolina. Some of those teams I get it. But overall, I wouldn't say this is one I would dispute with less, just because they defeated Ohio State, and the only other loss they have is to Pitt. Again, not the greatest loss, but again, it's not a bad loss in my opinion. That being said, let's go to the schedule for week number 10. If it pulls up at some point, that'd be nice. Here we go, week number 10. So the game yesterday between Western Michigan and Ball State, number 23 Western Michigan, by the way, 9-0 now in the MAC, or 5-0 in the MAC, 9-0 overall, best start in school history. It'd be nice for them to get to the playoff. I highly doubt they'll get there, but it'd be nice for them to go undefeated for sure. So Tom, let's do some pick'em here. We got Oklahoma 6-2 heading to Ames, Iowa to take on the Cyclones of Iowa State, who are 1-7. You think Oklahoma's going to win?
This is a hard decision. I am going to have to go with Oklahoma.
Fair enough. You have the UCLA Bruins. Josh Rosen is officially out for the season, unfortunately. So no Josh Rosen available for UCLA, but they're going to take on 15th ranked Colorado in Boulder. Do they have a shot?
I think they do. I'm going to go UCLA.
Okay. Let's see here. You have 4-4 Vandy taking on Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium. They're a 26-point favorite, Auburn. I'm assuming they'll win, but do they win by 26 or less?
I'm going to say less than 26.
Okay. Northwestern, yep. 4-4, 3-2 in the Big Ten, so not a bad record. They take on number 8 Wisconsin, but it's at home for Northwestern. Wisconsin's only a 7-point favorite. Does Northwestern pull off the upset, Tom?
Wisconsin's going to roll right over them. I can see that being actually a 10-point favorite for them.
So, my Maryland Terrapins, 5-3, 2-3 in the Big Ten, though. They're a 31-point underdog to number 3 Michigan. Does Maryland have any hope pulling this one off?
I might actually side with your Maryland Terps as a a dark horse right now, and my upset of the week. So I'm going to go Maryland, actually.
Really? Okay. Hey, it is November. So again, this is where the schedule gets a little bit tougher for opponents who are, can be surprised. So number 2, Clemson, taking on 4-4 Syracuse. A lot of teams that are hovering around that mark. Does Syracuse have a chance as a 27-point underdog?
Not at all. Clemson's getting rolled right over them.
TCU and Baylor, 2 teams in the Big 12 who are pretty impressive thus far. Baylor is a 7.5-point favorite at home. Does TCU pull off the upset?
TCU has been a good team over the recent years. I believe they were ranked number 4 a year or 2 ago. Unfortunately, some seniors have gone on, but I'm going to give it to the Baylor Bears.
Here's my upset of the week. Florida and Arkansas. Florida's only a 5.5-point favorite at Fayetteville. I'm picking Arkansas to upset the Gators. What say you, Tom?
I don't think it's an upset. I think Arkansas will do it, and that people are dumb right now, so I'm going Arkansas.
There you go. Perfect. The other team in the state of Washington who's been very impressive thus far, Washington State, ranked number 25 in the initial college football playoff rankings, but they are 5-0 in the Pac-12, 6-2 overall. They play at Washington State, take on a 2-6 Arizona team who has not won a game in Pac-12 play. Does Arizona pull off and get their first win of the season in Pac-12 play?
Another tough one. I'm going to say yes. They are not going to go defeated all the way through, so I'm going to go with Arizona on this one.
Iowa heading to University Park to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions here. Penn State's in a 7.5-point favorite. Not a bad line. I'm still taking Penn State, though. I think they're impressive. What about you?
Penn State's home field advantage is good. Them being ranked